My husband died, and I have to pretend that he was a great man who loved me. This was originally posted on August the 11th, 2024. My husband passed away 3 months ago, and I was relieved of that. He abused me financially, mentally, and even physically. When I got pregnant, he convinced me to quit my job, saying that he would take care of me. I could never buy anything again without asking his permission. I couldn't even buy a cream without asking his permission, and he decided if I could or not. Even months ago, when I had little money of my own, I had to ask him for permission to buy something. What was mine was his, and his was his. But I stayed there because I still loved him and didn't have a place to go. I had too low self-esteem and let myself be stepped on. When I stopped loving him, he had already had his first affair. He made me believe that I was to blame for the affair because I didn't want to have sex months after my birth that left me torn and I had to receive stitches. I was already planning my exit and saving money little by little while I was working on selling things from home since he wouldn't let me work outside because he was very jealous. I wanted to pay for a lawyer. He was having another affair with a friend of his, which luckily kept him busy, and I didn't care anymore that he didn't pay attention to me. I wanted him to stay as far away as possible. I knew that man and he knew me. I could have made a big fuss, but I didn't. I kept quiet, planning my way out, while he and that man slept together in secret. I only felt disgusted by my husband, nothing more. But my husband died in a way I never would have expected. He's now a martyr. When someone dies, all the sins of that person disappear, because that's what even my family thinks. Those who knew about his affair and how he manipulated me are now talking about how good of a man he was and that we shouldn't insult someone who's dead. Everyone around me talks about how beautiful our relationship was. His family talks about what a great man he was and how he always focused on giving everything to me and our kid. His affair partner hugs me at the funeral, saying that my husband loved me. His friends told me what a great person he was. Everyone talks about how good he was and how he is now an angel in heaven. And I have to pretend to be sad. The day he died, I cried a lot, but not out of sadness. I cried with relief, as I felt free. It would have taken me too many years to save to pay for lawyers with my little store without him realizing that I was keeping money in secret. He would have kept everything. He would have made my life hell, and I know it because he had told me so every time I stood up for myself. But now I have the house. I have everything. I have the monthly money for being a widow. I have my children totally with me. I've started seeing a psychologist. Everyone thinks that I do it to cope with my grief, but no, it's to overcome the abuse I suffered from him. It was really hard to pretend being sad at the funeral, but I did it for my child. I did it because now everything is over and I'm free. If I made a fuss, my ex-mother-in-law would have done something so that I wouldn't keep anything. They were just like him. But now I'm just a sad widow who needs help in their eyes. The silly widow who didn't know anything, but actually that's helping me to be free and have what I deserve. Sorry for the bad English, by the way. I used a translator for many parts. Also, quick edit on the end. We are not from an Islamic country, and here, same-sex couples can live and marry freely. He just cheated on me with a man like he cheated on me with a woman. I guess he was bisexual. Okay, before we get into the update for this one, let's jump into some comments. Somebody said, I'm just stuck on his affair partner hugging you and telling you he loved you. She had the balls to show at the funeral. Dang, you have more control than I could have ever mustered. Cheers to a life full of fun and love. OP replied, his affair partner was his football teammate and friend. He is a man, but thank you. Somebody else asked, your husband had an affair with a man or another woman? You have a child or children? OP says, his first affair was with a woman, I think. The second with a man, of which I know. Maybe he had others that I don't know. For privacy reasons, I'm not going to reveal the number of children I have, so I'll prefer to leave it as that it's only one. Okay, let's get into the update. This was posted 2 months later on October the 5th, 2024. It's been several weeks since I last posted, and I didn't expect my post to end up in other places. Honestly, I'd totally forgotten that I posted here. But a few days ago, the lover and friend of my ex-husband, I've started calling my deceased husband that way. I don't want to be eternally tied to the idea that he is still my husband even after death. Death did me the favor of separating us. Visited my house saying that he found my post. I didn't expect him to find this, and it scared me a bit, but honestly there's nothing I can do about this anymore if someone's posted it elsewhere without asking me first. One of my sons let him in when I hadn't heard the doorbell, so I had no choice but to let him in to not make a drama in front of my kids, and I wanted to know what he was going to say. Once alone, he told me that he knows that I know about him and my husband having an affair because of the post I sent to TikTok. Although I never did any posts on TikTok, that's why I think someone else uploaded it there. He told me that my husband was not the best husband, but he was a great friend to everyone and a very hardworking man. His family misses him so much, and even though he made mistakes in the past, I should let go of it and stop digging into it, because we're all better off like that. He was insisting for a while to such an extent that I actually felt intimidated by him to the point he reminded me of my husband. And it's the first time that I've had that feeling with a man that's not my ex-husband. I can talk peacefully with them, but this situation made me feel on the verge of a panic attack because of his attitude. He's basically scared that I'll say everything. He's gay, and I don't know if he has a boyfriend, but maybe he does, and that's why he doesn't want me to say anything about their affair. I've been a submissive woman for years. My ex-husband turned me into a fearful woman that I wasn't before. He made me the kind of woman who was always going to put her head down, but when he died I felt so happy and liberated, I cried with relief for days. And when this man came into my house to tell me what to do, it was like seeing my ex-husband again, giving me instructions about how to behave and what to do. The man who knows very well that I was in an abusive relationship because he knew how my ex was and chose to sleep with him anyways. The man my husband made me cook for and then screwed him as if I were just a maid at my house, telling me that my ex was a good person and that I should shut my mouth. He was telling me what to do and I just punched his face. To be honest, I wanted to slap him, but for some reason I felt so angry that I hit him, and it felt like I was hitting my husband too. I don't regret it, and it felt good. I yelled at him and told him to leave or I was going to tell everyone what happened. He ended up leaving the house and he's been quiet since that day. My main plan was just to shut my mouth and let go of the past, but that is one thing. And a totally different thing is that this man comes in and wants to impose on me what to do as if I were a doll. Maybe my reaction wasn't the best, but I'm tired of people telling me to shut up. I never managed to say anything to my husband, and that day I felt that I somehow did. I haven't told anyone yet, nor do I think I'm going to, but if he does something, then I won't hesitate twice before this time on whether to make a TikTok or post on Facebook talking about everything. With the issue of the house, with the economic crisis, I'm not sure that anyone can afford what a house like this is worth. But for now, I've focused on finally being able to get a better job in the future, to be able to rent a house and be able to rent out this house. That could be a really good way to make more money. My other goal in the future is to buy a small piece of land. No matter how far away it is, I want to have something that is my own and my children's. My children don't miss their father too much, and I understand that. It's taken me a while to get them a child psychologist, but recently they've started going to their sessions and they're doing well. As I said, I also go to a psychologist. I think the best thing I've done is I've started making excuses to my ex-mother-in-law and my own family for not seeing them as often as before. And I've started the stage of cutting off contact little by little, making excuses with work or that we're not at home, although I still have to let my ex-mother-in-law come home from time to time. I think even my kids are happier when they see that my own mood is better. I doubt that many people are interested in this, but thank you for the messages I received. Although many do not understand that cultures and laws are different, and here buying a house or moving to the other side of the country in a month is impossible for many. Okay, so there we go. Before I get into my thoughts on this, just one comment that I've picked out. Somebody said, "The audacity. He thinks you are still the maid," talking about your ex-husband's affair partner. Good for you for showing your strength and sending him on his way. The nerve! I would strongly advise you to coach your children to not allow anyone in that house though, not just for the affair partner if he returns. This includes the family that you plan to distance yourself from. And OP replied, yeah, they know that they shouldn't have opened the door to strangers or do so in the future, but they open the door to people they know because my ex-husband always sent them to open the door for him. I've begun to explain to them that they shouldn't open the door to anyone without telling me first, and now I leave everything with a lock and key. So there we go. I can't imagine it's too regular of an occurrence in life that your husband or your partner would die and you'll feel relief. I mean, listen, maybe it happens more often than I think, but yeah, very, very sad situation no matter what. I mean, even if you are relieved by someone's death, it's still sad that you've got to the stage in your relationship where you are actually relieved that your own husband has passed away. I agree with that final comment though. I mean, like the nerve of your affair partner to come back into your life Knowing what he's done to you, by the way, knowing the pain that he's caused, obviously the main blame is with your ex-husband more than it is with any of his affair partners. But for this guy to come back into your life, step through your front door and say, do not tell anyone about this. It's not your right to do so. Also, let go of the past. You're better than that. Also, yeah, if you're actually making dinner, I'll stay. I'll have some food if you don't mind. Again, yeah, agree with the comment. So audacious. I think like the general point here is and I want to get your thoughts on this in the comments down below, guys. What do you think about this? The whole point that, yeah, OP has said, when someone dies, it is often like they are or have become a martyr. Is that right? If someone was evil in life or was just not a very nice person, do we then have to say, you know, at the funeral or when talking about that individual later on, oh, you know, they were actually such a nice guy. They meant well. They were hardworking. People loved them, when that just isn't true. It is a bit weird. Like, why shouldn't you speak ill of the dead if they deserve it? It's very rare that they do. And even people that you know, perhaps weren't liked by many, they might have been misunderstood or they might not have been terrible people. But when you have people like this, like, why pretend that they're saints or that they're great people when they're clearly terrible people? Just because someone is no longer with us doesn't mean they can't be insulted, and doesn't mean that you shouldn't tell their family what they did to you. That's my opinion anyway, but yeah, as always, very interested to hear your guys' thoughts down below.